In today's session, we shall start from preparation of alcohols. The first one is starting from alkenes. And that the first method we consider is by acid catalyzed hydration. We will represent the general reaction first, then we can take up a specific example. I'll start from alkene. Hydration reaction. The reaction is catalyzed by an acid. The reaction takes place this way. Hydrogen gets added to one carbon atom. OH gets added to another carbon atom. Meanwhile, double bond becomes single bond. So, the product would be alcohol. Let me consider a specific example. I'll start from propene. Propene is an unsymmetrical alkene. The reaction is carried out in the presence of sulfuric acid. So, I'll start from sulfuric acid. So, how exactly the reaction takes place? The sulfuric acid can be written as H on one side and SO3H on the other side. The reaction is carried out at around 353 Kelvin at around 30 atmospheric pressure. Addition of sulfuric acid takes place according to Markovnikov's addition rule. So how can I write the next step? CH3. Here the negative part of the adding species, that is OSO3H, gets added to central carbon atom. Double bond becomes single bond and this hydrogen gets added to carbon. In other words, the intermediate product obtained is this compound. The name of this compound is, this is nothing but isopropyl group. You can make out there is a branching on the second carbon atom. So this is the isopropyl group, and if you compile it and write it, this becomes HSO4. HSO4 is hydrogen sulfate, or we call it as bisulfate. So what is the name of this product? It has to be isopropyl hydrogen sulfate. Now this compound, when treated with the steam, should undergo hydrolysis, and that gives you isopropyl alcohol. And meanwhile, sulfuric acid is regenerated. In this reaction, you have observed that if I start from propene, the final product obtained is isopropyl alcohol, which I write as CH3CHOHCH3. If you observe the net change, what should happen? HO should go to the central carbon atom involved in the double bond, and hydrogen should go to the terminal carbon atom. In other words, by acid catalyzed hydration, the net effect is Markovnikov's addition of water across unsymmetrical alkene. You know, OH is the negative part of water, gets added to the carbon atom involved in the double bond containing lesser number of hydrogen. So that is why whenever you want to convert propene into isopropyl alcohol, this is also called propane to all. We go with acid catalyzed hydration. And the important point is, using this acid catalyzed hydration, I can prepare only one primary alcohol. What is that alcohol? Ethyl alcohol. Or in other words, except ethyl alcohol, I cannot prepare any other primary alcohol using this particular method. We shall start from the mechanism for the reaction, that is acid catalyzed hydration of alkenes. This reaction involves 3 steps. We shall study those steps one by one. In step number 1, first hydronium ion is formed. What way I can represent formation of hydronium ion? You have water molecule H2O. It reacts with H plus ion. What way interaction takes place? On oxygen we have lone pair of electrons which will attack H plus ion. As a result, what we get is HOH. On oxygen we have lone pair of electrons. Then here you have H. In this case, oxygen has formed 3 bonds. You know, oxygen is supposed to form only 2 bonds, but in this case it has formed 3 bonds using its lone pair of electrons. That's why the charge present on oxygen must be positive. Now this hydronium ion will act as electrophile. What happens next is, you know, alkene is an electron rich species that will interact with hydronium ion. So hydronium ion, on oxygen you have 1 lone pair of electrons and you have a positive charge. What happens now? This alkene, which is electron rich, will attack on hydronium ion. This particular process is a reversible process. I can represent the attack like this. So the pi electrons will attack hydrogen. In turn, you know, this single bond gets shifted to oxygen. So when I represent it like this, you know, in this pi bond, this electron is contributed by the left hand side carbon and this electron is contributed by the right hand side carbon. When I show the arrow mark like this, meaning is the electron belonging to this carbon atom will remain with itself, but the electron belonging to the first carbon is given to hydrogen. In other words, this carbon is losing its electron to hydronium ion. That's why what should be the charge on this carbon atom? It has to be positive. So I can write the structure like this now. This carbon atom must have a positive charge. So double bond should become a single bond. Then we have a carbon. And on this carbon now, there are 2 unsatisfied valencies. And a bond is formed between this carbon atom and hydrogen. So that I'm going to represent it like this. In addition to that, you know, oxygen with a positive charge has accepted 1 electron from hydrogen. That's why positive charge of oxygen is neutralized. So the other product formed is H2O. Or in other words, at the end of step number 1, what is formed? A carbocation intermediate is formed. Carbocation intermediate. So what is step number 1 then? It is electrophilic attack of hydronium ion on alkene forming carbocation. We'll move over to step number 2. So in step number 2, I'll start from the carbocation. Now water is the nucleophile. So in step number 2, the nucleophile water will attack the carbocationic carbon. In other words, I can represent it like this. The lone pair of electrons present on oxygen will attack carbocationic carbon. So what should happen? We have a carbon here and 2 bonds. So here single bond, here we have 2 bonds, here hydrogen. Now, this water molecule attacks carbocationic carbon. So here I should have O, it is single bond H and single bond H. In this case, oxygen is losing one of its electron to carbocationic carbon. So what should be the charge on this particular oxygen? It has to be a positive charge. A positive charge. So, in step number 2, it is the nucleophilic attack of water molecule on carbocation. As a result, what we have obtained here is protonated alcohol. What is meant by protonated alcohol? If suppose this H plus ion were not to be there, this compound would have been alcohol. So that OH group has combined with H plus, it gives you protonated alcohol. In step number 3, we start from protonated alcohol. And this has to undergo deprotonation in the presence of water. Water molecule takes up H plus ion from protonated alcohol. In turn, this bond gets shifted on oxygen. As a result, the product obtained is, we have a OH group over here, C, and here we have hydrogen. And meanwhile, H2O has taken up H plus. It has to give you H3O plus ion. Or in other words, what we have obtained here is alcohol. So this is the mechanism of acid catalyzed hydration of alkene. So first step is formation of carbocation by electrophilic attack of H3O plus ion on alkene, forming carbocation. In step number 2, it is the nucleophilic attack of water molecule on carbocation. In step number 3, it's a deprotonation of protonated alcohol in presence of water to form alcohol, and hydronium ion is regenerated. The second method by which I can obtain an alcohol starting from alkene is hydroboration oxidation reaction. Here, I'll start from propene. We'll treat it with diborane. You know, diborane is actually B2H6. It's a dimer. I'll consider half a mole of that. Or in other words, effectively I'm talking about BH3. Now, how exactly I represent borane here? I'll consider hydrogen this way and BH2 like this. In other words, you know, hydrogen is more electronegative than boron. That's why I have written hydrogen below the carbon atom involved in the double bond containing lesser number of hydrogen atoms. So I can treat this as an addition reaction. So at the end of step number 1, the product I should get is CH3, CH2 then we have CH2. Thereafter, we have BH2. I'll write it as BH single bond H. Now this molecule now again will react with one more molecule of propene. So how to represent that? It is CH3 CH double bond CH2. Here again I can consider as if it's a Markovnikov's addition. So what should happen then? This hydrogen should go to the carbon atom involved in the double bond containing lesser number of hydrogen atoms, and this BHCH2 CH2 CH3 should get attached to the other carbon atom. Or in other words, if I represent that, I will get CH3, it becomes CH2, and this becomes CH2, and this CH2 gets attached to boron, and this boron will be left with single bond hydrogen, and on the other side what I have is CH2 CH2 CH3. Or in other words, this molecule can be represented as CH3 CH2 CH2. It is 2 times then boron with single bond H. The reaction further continues with one more molecule of propene in the same way. Here again, I will add this hydrogen to this carbon atom. So double bond becomes single bond, and the CH2 gets added to this part. Or in other words, what I get is CH3 CH2 CH2. It is a 3 times B. Or in other words, what is the name of the product? It is N-propyl borane. Or I can say try N-propyl borane. So this is the product at the end of step number 1. Start from 3 molecules of propene and use half a mole of diborane, which can be represented as BH3 effectively. What will be the product? It is tri-N-propyl borane, tri-N-propyl borane. Now this substance will undergo alkaline oxidation in the presence of hydrogen peroxide. What way I can represent that? CH3 CH2 CH2, 3 times boron. So this molecule will undergo oxidation in presence of alkaline hydrogen peroxide. Right? If suppose I consider 3 moles of hydrogen peroxide, for the sake of simplicity, I can consider it as 3 molecules of HO and OH. Now, boron will take away 3 OH groups, and remaining N-propyl group, we have 3 molecules of N-propyl group will combine with 3 OH and should give you the products. The first one is N-propyl alcohol, 3 moles of it. And what should be the byproduct? Byproduct is boron is combining with 3 OH groups. What we get is BOH thrice, or this molecule can also be represented as H3BO3. This is nothing but orthoboric acid. So what is your observation in case of hydroboration oxidation? In first step, 3 molecules of alkene will react with half a mole of diborane give you a trialkyl borane, and this trialkyl borane undergoes oxidation in presence of hydrogen peroxide in alkaline medium, gives you N-propyl alcohol and orthoboric acid. Now just look at the net change that has taken place at the end of the reaction. I have started from propene and the final product is N-propyl alcohol. So if you observe the structural change, hydrogen of water should have been attached to carbon atom of the double bond, and this CH2 group, whatever is there, should get attached to OH group. Or in other words, you observe that the negative part of water gets added to the carbon atom involved in the double bond containing more number of hydrogen atoms. That's why we say the net effect is anti-Markovnikov's addition of water across unsymmetrical alkene. So what is the net effect of hydroboration oxidation on unsymmetrical alkene? That results in anti-Markovnikov's addition of water molecule across the double bond. So after studying these two reactions, it's very clear that if I want to convert propene into N-propyl alcohol or 1-propanol, I have to go for hydroboration oxidation. On the other hand, in the previous reaction you have seen, to convert propene into isopropyl alcohol or propane 2-ol, we have to go for acid catalyzed hydration of alkene. The next method of preparation is starting from carbonyl compounds. Under that, first one we consider is starting from aldehydes and ketones. When I say aldehyde, you know the general formula RCOH. So this is an aldehyde. I'll subject it to reduction using hydrogen molecule in presence of palladium catalyst. What should happen effectively is the two hydrogen atoms should get added across carbon-oxygen double bond. In other words, one hydrogen atom has to go to carbon atom of the carbonyl group and another hydrogen atom should go to oxygen atom of the carbonyl group. As a result, the product obtained is RCH2OH, and this is nothing but primary alcohol. So it's very clear now that whenever an aldehyde is subjected to reduction, we will get primary alcohol. Very, very important. So aldehyde on reduction will give you primary alcohol. We can write at least two examples for this particular reaction. I'll start from acetaldehyde, CH3COH. It is acetaldehyde, or it is also called ethanol. I'll subject it to reduction under the same conditions using hydrogen and palladium. What should be the product? Product has to be CH3CH2OH. It is nothing but ethyl alcohol or ethanol. So if they ask you, how do you convert acetaldehyde into ethyl alcohol, or how do you convert ethanol into ethanol, you can consider this particular conversion. Similarly, if I start from benzaldehyde, subject to the same conditions, that is hydrogen and palladium, the product formed must be benzene ring with CH2OH. In other words, in this case, we have converted benzaldehyde into benzyl alcohol This is about reduction of aldehyde into primary alcohol. Now we'll start from ketones. Ketones are represented by the general formula RCOR dash. Again, I'll subject this to reduction. I can go for hydrogen in presence of palladium. But for a variation, I'll go for another reducing agent. This reducing agent is called sodium borohydride. So name of the reducing agent is sodium borohydride. This provides nascent oxygen, so nascent hydrogen. Right? So how many nascent hydrogen it produces? Let's say I consider 2 nascent hydrogen. Again, it is addition reaction across carbon-oxygen double bond. I can represent it like this now. One hydrogen goes to carbonyl carbon, another hydrogen goes to carbonyl oxygen, and then what else we have? We have R dash group. So what is the product of reduction of any ketone? It should be a secondary alcohol. Let us consider a particular example. Say I'll start from acetone. It is also called propanone. I'll subject this to reduction in presence of, let us say, sodium borohydride as the reducing agent. Product formed should be isopropyl alcohol, or I call it as propane 2-ol. Isopropyl alcohol or propane 2-ol. So in the examination they will ask, how do you convert acetone into isopropyl alcohol? We have to go for reduction using sodium borohydride, or I can go for hydrogen molecule in presence of palladium. Some more reducing agents I am going to mention next. So what are the reducing agents that can be used to reduce aldehydes and ketones into alcohol? We shall list down some of the reducing agents. I will go for catalytic hydrogenation. I'll use molecular hydrogen. What are the hydrogenation catalysts? I can go for, platinum. I can go for palladium. I can also make use of nickel, or I can make use of ruthenium. So one reducing agent that I can consider is hydrogen molecule in presence of hydrogenation catalyst. If not, I can go for the other reducing agent. I can make use of sodium metal in presence of ethanol, ethyl alcohol, Na and C2H5OH. The other reducing agent that I can make use of is lithium aluminum hydride. Very powerful reducing agent is lithium aluminum hydride, or as I have already told you, the other reducing agent can be sodium borohydride. So in short, I can say that aldehydes and ketones can be reduced using any of these reducing agents to form alcohols. The next carbonyl compound we consider is carboxylic acids and esters. They can also be subjected to reduction to obtain alcohols. To give an example, I will start from a carboxylic acid, RC double bond OOH. So I should subject this to reduction using a powerful reducing agent, lithium aluminum hydride. Whatever intermediate is formed should be subjected to hydrolysis. This reducing agent will provide 4 nascent hydrogen. Out of 4 nascent hydrogen, 2 nascent hydrogen atoms are used to replace this oxygen. Or in other words, 1 oxygen atom is replaced by 2 hydrogen atoms. So we should get RCH2OH, nothing but primary alcohol. Meanwhile, remaining 2 hydrogen atoms will combine with oxygen, forming water. In other words, when a carboxylic acid is reduced using lithium aluminum hydride followed by hydrolysis, we get primary alcohol. For example, if I start from acetic acid CH3COOH, I'll subject this to reduction using lithium aluminum hydride followed by hydrolysis. This gives you ethanol CH3CH2OH plus H2O. So product obtained is ethyl alcohol or ethanol. Now, if you consider the yield is excellent. But the problem is lithium aluminum hydride is very, very expensive. That's why this particular method is used in the preparation of only specialty chemicals. In short, I can say carboxylic acid groups cannot be reduced so easily. If you still want to reduce it, I have to go for a very powerful reducing agent, lithium aluminum hydride. Advantage is this gives you excellent yield of primary alcohol. But the problem is lithium aluminum hydride is very expensive. That's why this can be used only in the preparation of specialty chemicals. If not this way, I can also follow an alternate path. In that alternate path, first what we do is we convert a carboxylic acid into ester by esterification process. So I start from a carboxylic acid. First I'll subject this to esterification. You know, esterification reaction is carried out in presence of an alcohol, in presence of an acid catalyst. This should give you an ester. It is RCOOR dash. So what is obtained? An ester is obtained. And whatever ester is obtained should be subjected to reduction. So when you say reduction, I can use any of these reducing agents. I can go for catalytic hydrogenation, or I can go for another reducing agent, sodium and ethanol, or I can also make use of lithium aluminum hydride. So the products obtained are RCH2OH, you get a primary alcohol, and corresponding to this alkyl group R dash, we get R dash OH, another alcohol molecule. So if I start from, for example, ethyl acetate. Ethyl acetate is CH3COOC2H5. So this is an ester, and name of this ester is ethyl acetate. I'll subject this to a reduction. Let us say I'll make use of lithium aluminum hydride. So what should be the products? corresponding to CH3COO part, I will get CH3CH2OH, and corresponding to the C2H5, I will get C2H5OH. Or in other words, ethyl acetate, when undergoes a reduction, will give you 2 molecules of ethyl alcohol. So that I am going to represent it like this. The third method is starting from Grignard reagent. What is Grignard reagent? Organomagnesium halide. You have already studied about this compound under haloalkanes and haloarenes, and this is a very versatile synthetic reagent used to convert organic molecules into various functional groups. Here I'll use Grignard reagent with carbonyl compounds to obtain different classes of alcohols. I'll first start from the general reaction, then we can consider specific example. I'll start from carbonyl compound C double bond O. I'll treat it with a Grignard reagent. Grignard reagent is RMgX. And Grignard reagent has to be used in the presence of dry and alcohol-free ether. Reason I have already explained under haloalkanes and haloarenes. In order to understand this reaction in a simple way, we will go with the polarities. In case of Grignard reagent, R is a carbon moiety, and here we have magnesium. And carbon being more electronegative than magnesium, this R will carry partial negative charge, and magnesium will carry partial positive charge. Or in other words, the bond between R and Mg is a highly polar covalent bond. Coming to the substrate, carbonyl compound, oxygen is more electronegative than carbon. That's why on oxygen I'll have partial negative charge. On carbon there must be partial positive charge. Now to simplify the entire equation, I'll treat it as if it is addition reaction across carbon-oxygen double bond. So in such case, the negative part of the adding species should go to the positive part of the substrate, double bond should become single bond, and negative part of the substrate should get added to the positive part of the adding species. Or in other words, this can be written as it is a R, negative part gets attached to positive carbonyl carbon. And on this carbon atom, I have 2 unsatisfied bonds. And I told you double bond should become a single bond. And this negative part should get added to MgX. And now, if you consider the bond between oxygen and magnesium, oxygen is highly electronegative, so it will carry negative charge. Magnesium is highly electropositive, it will carry positive charge here. In other words, what we have obtained here is an addition compound. I am going to call it as adduct. In fact, this is a salt. This is a salt of alcohol, weaker acid alcohol. Now this particular addition compound, I can subject it to acidic hydrolysis. So I'll go with H3O+. Or in other words, H2O in presence of H+. So what way reaction takes place? The hydrolysis takes place over here. I'll represent water molecule this way. The positive part of water is hydrogen and negative part of water is OH. So what should happen because of this hydrolysis reaction? I should have RC with 2 unsatisfied valencies. Then we have OH and what else must be formed? It is MgOHX. MgOHX must be formed. Now, what is obtained here is alcohol. Now, depending upon the groups that are attached to the carbonyl carbon, we are going to get different classes of alcohol. For example, if both the bonds are satisfied by hydrogen, what I get is a formaldehyde. So this is formaldehyde, or I can call it as methanol. In such case, what should be the final product? These two unsatisfied valencies should be satisfied by two hydrogens. What we get is a RCH2OH. And what is RCH2OH? It should be primary alcohol. Similarly, if one bond is satisfied by R group and another bond is satisfied by hydrogen, or in other words, I am going to make use of any other aldehyde other than formaldehyde. So what should happen in this structure? One bond will be satisfied by R, another will be satisfied by hydrogen. So what I get is this molecule. And which type of alcohol it is? It is secondary alcohol. So you start from any aldehyde other than formaldehyde, we will get secondary alcohol. On the other hand, if these two bonds are satisfied by two groups, R and R dash, for example, so it is a RC double bond O, and here we have R dash. So what should happen? Here I should have R group, here I should have R dash group. So what I am going to get is a tertiary alcohol. So I can represent it like this, RCR, and here you have R dash and OH. What is obtained is tertiary alcohol. So we can go on writing down specific example one by one. So whatever I have written here is the general reaction. So let me consider a specific example. Let's say I'm going to start from acetaldehyde. So acetaldehyde, I'll write it like this. CH3 C double bond OH. Acetaldehyde. I'll treat it with methyl magnesium iodide. CH3MgI, methyl magnesium iodide. And reaction has to be carried out in presence of dry and alcohol-free ether. And I told you how the reaction takes place. Carbon delta plus, oxygen delta minus. Carbon of methyl group is delta minus, magnesium should have delta plus. So how do I represent the adduct CH3C, and here to this carbon atom, that CH3 gets attached, and of course we have a hydrogen over here, and to oxygen gets attached is MgI. So what I get is OMgI. So this is addition compound. You have a O minus and MgI with positive charge on magnesium. And this adduct we subject to hydrolysis in acidic medium. And the final product that you get would be isopropyl alcohol. So isopropyl alcohol is a secondary alcohol. By this method, it is possible to convert acetaldehyde into isopropyl alcohol. As I told you, instead of acetaldehyde, if I start from formaldehyde, wherein I replace the CH3 group by hydrogen, what should be the product? This CH3 will be replaced by hydrogen. I'll get CH3, CH2OH. It is ethanol, primary alcohol. On the other hand, if this hydrogen is also replaced by CH3, we start from acetone. So here what should happen? Even this hydrogen will be replaced by CH3. The product obtained will be tertiary butyl alcohol, and tertiary butyl alcohol is a tertiary alcohol.